Now, that beef rendang looked delicious. Now, I've never been to Malaysia, but I have been to Bolton recently, and Scotland, just this week. And Scotland, home of Cranachan. And this is a sort of variation of a dessert, a classic Scottish dessert I'm going to show you now. I've got in here whipped egg whites, and I'm going to create a soufflé, hopefully, in 6 minutes. So we've got a little bit of whipped egg whites. I've got some ready-made custard. You buy this from the supermarket, all right? And the reason why you use this stuff, it's got like a little additive in there that holds it when you're making a soufflé. A few raspberries. Now, raspberries, of course, famous from Scotland, off the west coast of Scotland. Give that a quick mix, like that.
I like a raspberry.
And then all we do is we add the whites to the raspberries. Fold half in as quick as possible, then take the rest of it. So that old sort of ye old recipe books, Janet, that tell you to cut, fold, figure of 8. Forget about that. Just get it in the oven as quick as possible. So you quickly fold in. Like that.
Is that true? You're not worried about knocking the air out?
You won't. As long as you get it in the oven as fast as possible.
Nice.
We've got a dish here with oatmeal on it, because obviously the Cranachan's got the oatmeal on it. But I'm going to serve it with proper Cranachan on the side, so just get a little bit of a... That's it. Palette knife like that.
So nimble with a palette knife.
Flatten it down. 15 years as a pastry chef, you
wow.
see. Round the edge.
There's the finger.
Round the edge.
That's going to make it rise straight, right?
Well, yeah, fingers crossed. In the oven. It is live, so there you go. There's actually somebody swapping it. That oven doesn't work. There's
Don't
no
say
back
that. Don't tell me that.
I'm joking. We've got Michel Roux out the back. He's just making a soufflé. Now, tell us about this film, Paul, because this is like the third in the line that you've done with Simon Pegg, of course. You've co-written it?
We have, yeah.
I went to see it last night, and it's kind of... when you watch it, it's based on an alien, which is Paul, of course. But when you watch it, there's little bits of each movie. Tell us about that, then.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't write it with that in mind, really. We just kind of wrote the film we wanted to write, and then, you know, films like Star Trek and Star Wars and Close Encounters and E.T. are our kind of favourite films. So, you know, you kind of quickly find yourself referencing these films as a kind of love letter to...
Because I was picking up bits and pieces, that classic fight scene in Star Trek, that was funny.
Yeah.
I got that. I didn't understand what Paul was doing in the big room, but my producers suddenly told me when we left the cinema that it was from Indiana Jones, that big room. And that's actually Spielberg.
It is actually Steven Spielberg, yeah. What an amazing day that was. Because we were just working with him on Tintin, Simon Pegg and I, and we kind of, you know, pitched to him that we've got this movie about an alien, and he kind of said, well, maybe I could come in and do a small cameo in it. And originally we said no, and then we very quickly backtracked and said, yeah, oh, Steven Spielberg. I thought you meant,
Because you've got Sigourney Weaver in it.
Yeah, we do, yeah. Jason Bateman.
So tell us about the plot then, because it's a...
Well, it's a story as old as time itself, really. Two comic book nerds go to Comic-Con, they hire an RV, they do a little road trip to Area 51, and while they're there, they kind of witness a car crash, and in the crash car is an alien.
Yeah.
It's that old story.
But there is things like these Comic-Con places.
There is, yeah.
Before you say, I've not been to one of them. I went to one of these. I was actually doing a food festival.
Can I just say, sorry, it's all right if you did go to one.
No, I didn't.
You seem like you'd been caught going into a gentleman's sauna. I didn't go to Comic-Con.
It wasn't fun. I came out of reception out of the hotel, dressed in chef's jacket.
Oh, you're right.
And I'm stood there waiting for the car to pick me up outside the hotel. And I've got Darth Vader and an Ewok.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. It's nice.
What's all that about?
You can be yourself, you know. In Comic-Con in San Diego, there's like 500,000 freaks and geeks that go over the 3 days. So it's a place where, you know, nerds and geeks and people who love science fiction can go and be themselves.
Are you into that sort of thing?
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you into that? Oh,
yeah.
There you go. But, right, we've got toasted oatmeal. I didn't understand. I couldn't understand what these people were doing. But because they dress up like that all the time.
No, probably not when they go to work. See, that's what we like.
They've got the shoes on or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. They'll keep the shoes. Yeah. That's what's good about Comic-Con, you know. People who live all over America who can't dress as an Ewok at work can take those 3 or 4 days to go and be exactly the person they want to be.
Exactly who they want to be.
Exactly.
Precisely. Anyway, there you go. Right, I have got this toasted oatmeal and a bit of butter in here, which I'm going to toast off. The raspberries are just warming up. They're just softened nicely. And then I'm going to do is toast this off and then add the whiskey to it once it's cool. Fold it through whipped cream and a bit of icing sugar. But the connection between you and obviously Simon Pegg, you knew each other for many years.
18 years, yeah, we've been best friends.
How did you end up meeting?
I worked in a restaurant. I worked in a Mexican restaurant called Chiquitos, and his then girlfriend worked there. I became friends with her, and then through her, I met him. And yeah, that was that.
And you reckon you were the best waiter in the world? Is that right?
No, I think I was probably in the top 3. But you know what? But it wasn't like a serve. It wasn't like Claridge's. It was a Mexican restaurant. You know, it wasn't.
And famous for
Fajitas.
for the tray spinning.
Yeah.
And just so happens.
Uh-oh.
We didn't plan this. There you go. You reckon
That's
you can spin 13 trays on one finger?
Yeah, I'm going to have to stand. Well, you get very bored, you know. These are a lot smaller than the ones we used to spin, but you'd start at 1.
Yeah.
And then you kind of... I haven't done this for 20, well, you know, and then you go on to 3.
Hey.
And then what's that? 6.
These are quite heavy.
So then I'll do... OK. The bigger ones are a bit easier because you can get more momentum.
Right. So we're whipping up the cream here. Now, all you do with this is you basically soak this in the whiskey, all right? So that's the idea of that. We soak it all in, give it a quick mix together, like that, and it all starts to come together. Now, as well as Paul, we know you from, obviously, Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
As well. Was it Rock the Boat?
Boat the Rocked, yeah.
Boat the Rock, that's the one. And there was another one, Shaun of the Dead, which, of course, was the huge one. Was that the one that set up your partnership, really, when it comes to writing for films?
Well, no, I mean, this was the first thing we'd written together. This was the first film. The other ones were written with by Edgar and Simon. So it was a nice chance for me to have a go this time at writing.
There you go. Right.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm fine. We're whisking this up. And I'm going to fold in this, all right? This is your Cranachan. So this is the soaked. Often a lot of people put honey in it and things like that, which is fine. But we give that a quick mix. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is take the warm raspberries. Now, the thing about these, the Scottish raspberries, because obviously the west coast of Scotland, famous for raspberries. There used to be a train that used to deliver raspberries all the way down to London.
The Raspberry Express.
That was it. That's what it's called. Yeah.
I'm not being flippant.
Wasn't in a comic either. There you go. Basically, just put that on there, and then a good spoonful of this.
I feel like you've gone off me now because I like science fiction.
No, I haven't. No. Well, I kind of didn't understand it really. It's kind of a film that if I watched it again, then it was suddenly click in the Indiana Jones things. I got bits and pieces. Obviously, Men in Black. I got that. E.T. got that, but didn't get the big room with the boxes. But the producer did. He was laughing away to himself. Chuckling away.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get out much. He's got big eyes like Paul as well. Right.
We're ready to go.
We're there.
No. Yes?
Soufflé.
Whoa, look at that.
We're there.
Smash it.
Thank you very much. Michelle Roux, that was brilliant. Thank you very much. Right, they do is lift this off here.
He's certainly proof that he can cook.
We put that.
Look at that.
My version of a little Cranachan.
May I?
Right, dive in.
Thanks very much. Wow. I love a raspberry.
Raspberry soufflé with a bit of Cranachan. And warm raspberries as well, especially when they're not in season. Just flash them in the pan.
Oh, yeah. That whiskey's amazing.
Now, we've seen a lot of chefs cook at these hobs with some crazy ideas, but Aggie Sverrisson is probably the craziest. I mean, the man doesn't use any butter in all of his cooking. What's he on?